and I
I
decided to go
decided to go
solo.
solo,
And
and
really
really
focus on
focus on
Showtime at the
Showtime at the
office
office
because
because
you really
you
before
really
we
before
should
we should
tape it
tape
somewhere
it
else.
somewhere else.
It was not
It
the
was not the
office, but
office, but
we actually
we
in the
actually in
office
the
today.
office
So
today. So
without further
without
ado,
further ado,
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
let our
let our
guest
guest
introduce
introduce
herself.
herself.
Uh, it's
It's
Judy,
Judy,
right? I
right?
said
I
it right.
said
Yes.
it right.
So
Mm-hmm.
So
Judy, go
Judy,
ahead,
go
take the
ahead,
mic
take the mic
away.
away.
Tell our
Tell the
audience a little bit
audience a
about
little bit about
yourself.
yourself.
You know what you
You know what
do,
you do,
and
and
whatever you want to
whatever
share
you
with
want to
them.
share with them.
Yeah. Well, hello, everybody. So my name is Judith, but I go by Judy. I am 43 years old. I currently work for a health insurance company. I've been doing this for about, I want to say, almost 10 years. So that was one of my greatest accomplishments. We'll talk about how I got there in a few. Um, but yeah, that's mostly about me. And then we'll talk about my accomplishments.
Okay,
Okay,
yes,
We
yes,
build it up,
yes, we
yes,
right?
we definitely.
so
So
yeah,
yeah,
I
you know, I
we have
we have
kids
a
that go to the
kids that
same
go to the
school.
same school.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we
That's how
met,
we met.
and
And
I've been
I've
trying to
been
get you
trying
on
to
the
get you on the
podcast for a long
podcast for a
time
long
now.
time now.
I want to
I
thank
want
you
to
for
thank you
taking
for
that,
taking that,
some time on your
sometime on
busy
your busy
schedule to
schedule
make it
to make it
today.
today.
And
And
we wanted
we
to
wanted to
think about a
think about a
topic
topic
that would
that would
benefit the
benefit the
audience.
audience.
And
And
credit to your
credit to your
daughter, your
daughter,
older
your older
daughter,
Mm-hmm.
daughter,
and she
and she
mentioned about
mentioned about teen mom,
teen mom
teen mom
pregnancy,
pregnancy,
right?
right?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
that's one of the
that's
topic
one of the
that I
topics
haven't
that I
covered.
haven't
I could
covered.
say
I
I
could say
cover
I
a lot of
cover a lot
topic,
of
a lot
topic, a
of
lot of
different
different
subject,
subjects.
but teen
But teen
mom
mom
pregnancy
pregnancy
having been
having
one of
been
them.
one of them.
And
And
you
you
wanted to share
wanted
your
to share your
experience or
experience or
Yeah.
what you went
what you
through
went through
being a teen
being a
mom.
teen mom.
Um,
Um,
and
and
I really
I really
believe that
believe
is
that is
something that is
something
not
that is
talked
not
too much
talked too much
about.
about.
And when you
And when you
mention it,
mention it,
my mom who
my
passed
mom
away
who
three
passed away
years
three
ago
years ago
used to watch
used to watch
this show
this
called
show
Teen
called
Mom,
Teen Mom.
and
And
she loved it. It
she
was
loved it. It was
Oprah
Oprah
and Teen Mom.
and
That
Teen Mom.
was her
That
favorite
was her
show,
favorite show.
and it
And
kind of
it
made
kind of
me
made me
that brought
that brought
a little
a
tear to
little
my
tear
eyes
to my
because
eyes
I know
because
that
I
was
know
one of
that
her
was one
favorite
of her
show.
favorite show.
And
Mm-hmm.
And
you know when I
when I
was
was
used to see
used
her
to see
watch
her
it,
watch it,
and then
and
just
then
sometime
just
I go
sometime
over
I go
there
over there
over her house
over her
and
house and
saw her
saw
watching
her
it,
watching
and
it. And
it
it
always
always
I work with
I work with
young
young
people. I was
people. I was
a youth
a youth
pastor,
pastor.
um,
Um,
and
and
you know
you know
there's a lot of
there's a
things
lot of
kids
things
go
kids
through,
go through,
young
young
adult. I don't
adult
want to
go
say
through. I don't want to
kids,
say
young
kids,
adult
young
go
adult
through,
go through,
and we
and
just don't
we just don't
understand. And
understand. And
I think many
I think many
time
times
we
we
more
more
about
about
criticizing them
criticizing them
and being
and being
harsh on
harsh
them
on them
and not really
and not
trying to
really trying to
understand what
understand
they're
what
going
they're
through.
going through.
And
And
I think
I
that
think
it's
that
good
it's
for
good for
you,
you,
to put in your
to put in your
perspective.
perspective.
When you
When
were
you were
in that
in that
stage,
stage, I
when
mean,
that
when
happened
that
to you when
happened
you
to
was
you when you was
younger,
younger,
and that
and
happened.
that
So,
happened. So,
um,
um,
can you
can
share
you
your
share your
story?
story?
How old
How old
you were
you were
when you became a
when you
teen
became a
mom?
teen mom?
Yeah, so I think this is a great topic because I know we talked about coming on the podcast, and my older daughter was like, you know what, you should talk about that because, and she always tells me like I never talk about like the journey, the experience, because she's really proud of me of
Wow.
what I've
Right.
overcame, and I think that that's what motivates me as a mom to keep going, and I'm just extremely happy and proud that my kids are proud of me. So, I was 18 in high school. I found out, I think at like a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, what you had to do is you had to go to the hospital and take a urine test, and then they give you a number. They give you a number, and in that number there's a phone number where you call and then you say, hey, my number is 53. I'm calling to find out my results.
Wow.
So that's how I found out.
And you
And
said
so
that
you say that
happened in
happened
the.
in the.
Yeah, so I was literally in school and I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, let me call this number.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the steps
Yes.
is
Yes.
that you go
Mhm.
to the hospital
Okay.
Okay.
because I was already not feeling well,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, am I pregnant? You're not at that age. You're not
Mhm.
thinking that can
Okay.
happen to you. So I was like, let me go to the hospital and check it out and see. Don't ask me why I didn't go to the pharmacy and get a
Okay.
test. No clue. But the right thing in my mind was to go get an accurate
Did you
test
talk?
result.
Did
So
you
from
talk to
then,
your mom?
no, I went by myself.
Anybody that
Nope.
That was
that
like
was like
your
your
good
friend,
friend
good
or
friend,
your
or
aunt
your
or
aunt,
anything.
Nope,
anything?
I went by
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
So even at that age, I was just like extremely intelligent.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I just knew that I had to. I was like, I'm gonna do this by myself. I went by myself. Went there. Said, this is what I think is happening. They said, okay. Gave me a cup. They took my urine. Gave me my number. Let's say my number was 56. Then they gave me a telephone number. They said, call us back in 3 days. So I was like at a basketball game in high school, and I was like, oh yeah, I have to call this number.
Was you
And
Was you
afraid?
afraid? I mean,
no,
to
because
me,
I didn't think that
that's
the
scary.
no, I was not afraid. I just called because I didn't think they was gonna say yes, you're pregnant.
Wow.
Wow.
So I called the number and they was like, yes, you're pregnant. I just looked at the phone. I can't remember if I had like a cell phone or if I used a school's phone. I must have used a school's phone because
Mhm.
back then we didn't have cell phones. I don't remember, but I just remember here having a phone next to my ear saying, yes, you're pregnant, and I just started crying. And
Okay.
then my one of my friends at the time, she's like, what happened? What happened? And then I told her, she was like, well, you knew the consequences.
Okay.
And I just dried the tears and I was like, okay, well, this is what has to happen. And then I remember going home. So my mom is Haitian, my family's
Mhm.
Haitian.
Yeah.
So, I remember going home and I was like, I have to tell my mother. I have to tell my, I don't know what to do. So I
Mhm.
remember it was my mother and my aunt. And I told them, I said, I
About
ran.
your
About
dad was
your
not
dad
in your
was not
life.
in your life.
No, he
Okay.
wasn't. So I went home with my mom and my aunt. And then I just said, I went to the hospital. I took a pregnancy test. I called the number, and they said I'm pregnant. And then, of course, my mom cried, and she was
Mhm.
like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it." She was like, "Well, we just have to do what we have to do, and
Okay.
I'll support you fully."
Nice.
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 Yeah,
Nice.
and my mother has supported me since the day I told her. So I thank God. Like I know that's not the case for most people.
Mhm.
Well, excuse me, most kids at that time.
Yes.
But I thank God that I had a really good support system in my mother and my aunt. Um, and then she said to me, so she was like, you went to the hospital by yourself? I said, yes. And she was so proud of me.
Wow. Wow.
She was like, you went by yourself? I said, yes, I did. I said, I went by myself and I went to go handle my business because if I just knew at that age, if this was something that could be a possibility, I knew at that time that I had to grow
But
up.
let me
Let
ask
me
you
ask
this
you
follow-up
this
question
follow-up
because,
question because,
like, for
like, for
me,
me,
like when I
like when
grew
I
up,
grew
I
up,
was,
I was,
living with
living
my
with
high
my high
school
school
girlfriend, right?
girlfriend, right? We
We lived
we
together
lived
in
together
my mother
in my mother's
basement.
basement.
But one thing my
But one
mother
thing my
didn't
mother,
Excuse
know
me?
is
yeah,
my high
my
school
high school
girlfriend
girlfriend,
I think we need to unpack that.
we
really
How
well,
old were you?
I think maybe
maybe
16,
16,
16,
16,
17.
17.
But the way
But
my
the way
mom
my
was,
mom was,
she was a
she
cool
was a
mom. Like
cool
she
mom. Like
wanted
she wanted
you,
you,
like whatever
like
you was
whatever you
doing,
was
like
doing,
for
like
her to be
for her to
aware
be
of it,
aware of it,
like
like
like to bring
like
it
to
to the
bring it to
house,
the
not
house,
to go
not to go
outside trying to
outside
hide
trying to
it.
hide it.
Can we talk about the Haitian stigma, please? I
Yes,
feel like
Yes,
this is about to
I
derail.
know.
I
Can
don't.
we talk about how Haitian mothers are?
Yes,
Yes,
Because she would have never did that with her Haitian daughter.
yes.
yes. I
N-
didn't.
I mean,
I mean, for my,
she did.
she did.
She did it
Actually,
for
she
my
So
did it
you
for my
had,
sister.
sister.
how old was your
My,
sister?
no, when
No, when
my
my
sister,
sister.
wow,
Wow,
I think
I
maybe she
think
was
maybe she
maybe
was maybe
70,
70,
18,
18,
or maybe
or
older.
maybe older. I,
I
I,
don't
I
remember
don't
because
remember because
they're gonna
they're
call me
gonna
my
call
sister. I
me my
got four
I got four
sisters.
sisters.
Trust me,
Trust me,
they'll
they will
call
Taylor, you
call
putting
me.
out business
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
they'll call
they
me.
will call.
But
But
where I
where
wanted to
I
go with
wanted
that
to
is
go with
that
that is that
um
um
one of the things
one
people
of the
say,
things
oh,
people
you
say, oh, you
can't
can't
have
have
kids, right?
kids,
See,
right?
see, wanted
She
us,
wanted
you
us,
know,
we're
we're living together,
living
but
together, but
um,
um,
she didn't want us
she
to
didn't
have
want us to
no
have
kids
no kids
at that
at
age. She
that
wanted
age.
us
She
to
wanted us
finish
to finish
school,
school,
go to
go to
college,
college,
because
because
I was just
I was just
surprised that
surprised that
your mother
your
support
mother
you that
support you
well,
that
because
well,
there was
because
no
there was
mention
no
about
mention about
abortion,
abortion,
because
anything like, because
a lot
a
of
lot of
Haitian
Haitian
parents,
parents,
they will say,
they
hey,
would say,
even though
hey,
they
even though
believe
they
in
believe
God,
in God,
they'll say, oh,
they
you
would say,
can't
oh,
have
you
no
can't have
kids.
no kids.
You're gonna make
You're gonna
people
make
talk
people
bad
talk
about
bad about
me.
me.
The
The
shame,
shame,
that
that
they're
they're
they're feeling the
they're feeling the
shame, right?
shame, right?
And
And
I think
I
one
think
of the things
one of
that
the things that
I think you could
I
talk
think you
about
could
it too
talk
is
about it too
just
is just
even any
even
young
any
people
young
going to
people
their
going to
teen
their
mom,
teen mom,
you know,
you know, um,
or teen
or teen
fathers,
fathers,
that for them not
that
to
for
be
them not to be
ashamed,
ashamed,
right?
right?
This is
This is
a
a
blessing,
blessing,
and
and
Well, I wouldn't promote teen
no, no,
pregnancy
no, no,
now, but I hear
yes,
what you're
but
yes,
saying.
what I'm
yeah.
saying
What
If
I'm
is
it
saying that if
for
happens,
it
you,
happens
yes,
you
to
not
for you
support
not
your
support
to
your
support
kids.
kids
your kids,
because
Yeah.
the
because
fact
the
that
fact
a
that
lot of
a
people
lot
end
of
up
people
having
end up having
abortion and they
abortion
cannot
and
have
they
no more
cannot have no
kids
more kids
because
because
the
the
damage from the
damage from the
abortion,
abortion,
and then
and
two,
then
if you're
two, if
saying
you're
that
saying that
you believe
you
in
believe in
Christ,
Christ,
God doesn't want you
God
to
doesn't
have
want you to have
abortion, right?
abortion,
Yeah, so
right?
that was the
Yeah.
thing too, right? So Haitians, they Catholic, and and the other thing was is that my aunt that we were staying with at the time, she couldn't have any
Okay.
kids.
Okay.
So I couldn't come home and be like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant, I'm having an abortion. So, but that never even crossed my mind, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but I will say her husband actually said to me, oh, and in Creole, of course,
Yeah.
and when you say it in Creole, it's way worse than
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
So he was saying, oh, you're pregnant, you're finished, you're done,
Wow,
that's
Wow,
that's
it.
very
that's very
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
He was like, oh, you're
In
finished, you're
front of
In
your
done.
front of
mom,
your mom?
you
No,
didn't say
You didn't say
okay
of
okay.
because
course
your
not.
mother
Because your
has no
mother
part
had
with
no
Of
the.
power with
course
it.
not.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm
Sorry
not
for
the
that.
Sorry for
person I
that.
am.
Sorry,
Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate it. And I'm not the person I was. Obviously I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
I was very shy. I was very timid. So I
Hmm.
just took what he said. I put it in my back pocket, and I said, I'm going to show you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like that was the biggest motivation for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Because you told me I'm finished, I'm done,
Hmm.
I'm not going to be nothing in
Yeah.
life. I said, let me show you.
Yeah.
So once he said that to me, I said to myself, and I won't discuss, the other
Yeah.
party,
Yeah.
but I will say that I said to myself, okay, it's you and your baby,
Hmm.
tunnel vision, and this is where we're going.
Okay.
Okay.
And I finished high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my friends that helped me through high
Yes,
school. I
Yes,
was
because
you guys
pregnant.
just
I mean, I
the
had
support,
all the support
all
bodyguards.
the
you
support
had.
you had.
Yes,
Yeah.
I must say, I had a lot of support. I
Mm.
had a lot of support. I
Mhm.
had bodyguards. I would walk through the hallway. Be careful with her.
Mhm.
Of course, I didn't. I didn't start showing until I was about 7 months.
Okay.
So it was very quiet
Okay.
until, and even when I was showing, it still looked like I was full, like I had a big McDonald's meal because
So
I was so skinny.
Let's
let's
unpack that because
unpack that
you
because
wanted to
you
unpack
were to
my
unpack
thing
my
when I was
thing.
let's go
But let's
about
go
the
about the
what
what
your
your
stepfather or
stepfather or
right?
right?
No, my aunt's
Yeah.
husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
you.
Wasn't. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry if I
Yes.
Yes.
misspoke.
Yes.
Maybe I didn't. I'm
Maybe I
sorry.
didn't. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Your
Yes. Your
aunt has been
has been
like.
like.
How did you
How did
take
you
that?
take that?
Because
Because
that's something
that's
that
something that
could,
could,
I would
I
say,
would say,
affect you
affect you
for the rest of
for
your
the
life
rest of your life
if
Hmm.
you were
if
to
you were
take
to
that in,
take that
because
in, because
people don't
people
understand
don't
the power
understand
of
the
word
power of
that
word that
that
The
could
power of the
that
yeah,
could
the
tongue.
power
yeah, the
Yeah.
it
power,
just
it
could
just could
destroy you
destroy you,
because here
because
you
here
are
you
going
are
to
going to
the most
the most
difficult
difficult
moment in your
moment in your
life because
life
you're
because you're
young, you
young,
don't
you don't
know
know
you know
what
what to
to
expect, how you're
expect,
gonna
how you're gonna
deal
deal,
having a
having
kid,
a kid,
and then
Hmm.
you're in
and then you're in
school,
school,
all this
all
thing,
these things,
we don't know
we don't
if
know
the
if the
father of the
father
kid
of the
was
kid was
involved trying to
involved
help
trying to
you,
help
and
you,
it's kind
and
of
it's
you
kind of
like by
you like by
yourself,
yourself,
beside having
beside
your
having
mom
your mom
supporting friends,
supporting friends,
and
Yeah,
aunts.
and aunts.
and I said it earlier. That was what he said to me. It crushed me to the point where, wow, this is what you think of me. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. And if he's watching this,
Hmm.
look at me today. But I'm just saying that that was my biggest motivation.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
um, like I said, I wasn't showing until I was about 7 months. So when I went to school. I just went to school like it was normal. I had no choice but to go to class. I mean, I got my best grades.
Nice.
Even the high school I went to, I took Regents. I got the highest score in the Regents in the science. So I was seeing grades that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I am smart. So I graduate. I did. It took me 6 months, but I did graduate from high school with a diploma. I didn't get a GED.
Nice.
I remember going up to the school with my baby in the carrier to go pick up my diploma.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't walk across the stage, but that's okay because I got my diploma. My best friend at the time, she used to watch my daughter for me when I went to night school because Jamaica night
Oh
school.
yeah, I
Oh
was.
yeah,
I
I
was
was
That
nice to
hill.
go up there. Yeah,
going up the
going up the hill. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
trooping up that hill, I used
Mhm.
to go to night
Yeah.
school and then go pick up my baby. Went home.
Mm.
So and then it's funny. The high school I went to had a
Oh
daycare in it.
Oh
wow.
wow.
So I didn't always have to bring her, but there was a time or
Mhm.
two, a couple of times that I had to bring her to school with me, and everybody loved her. The teachers used to like, oh,
That was
I
That
remember you, and
was
nice.
then
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
even
because
the
I don't think
teachers
they have
supported
that
me.
Now.
I
now
don't think
today.
we don't
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
that.
No, but I'm
No, but
saying
I'm
it
saying
but
just
it's
but
it's
but
has
a
timing
resource,
because
yeah.
yeah,
because I
because
don't
Mhm.
I don't
think
think
anybody
anybody
plan to do
planned to
it.
do
I
it.
don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I
I
mean,
did
I
watch
did watch
some of the
some of the
episodes. Some of
episodes.
the
Some of the
young people
young
did
people
want to
didn't
get
want to get
pregnant.
pregnant.
You know what's crazy? I've never watched Teen
Oh
Mom. I
yeah,
don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
it's because I was a teen mom, and
yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
I've
It
It
never
was.
was.
It
like the
was.
16 and pregnant teen. I've
Yeah,
Yeah.
never
it
watched those
It
was.
shows,
was.
so I can't even tell you what happened on
Yeah.
those episodes or
Yeah,
anything.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I
it
mean,
just
it just.
I knew
I
it's
knew
just
it's
my
just
mom
my
was
mom
watching,
was
so I
watching,
was
so
like,
I was like, but
going back to
going
that,
back
what
to
would you
what would you
tell
tell
someone,
someone,
you know,
you know,
at that
at
age
that
that
age that
maybe
maybe
their
the
stepfather or their
stepfather or the
father or
father or
somebody in the
somebody
family
in
or
the
even a
family or even a
friend or
friend
sometimes
or
even a
sometimes even a
teacher
teacher
say something
say
like that
something
to
like that
them,
to them,
during
during
this most
this most
difficult moment
difficult moment.
in
Yeah.
time.
So I think my best advice would be, again, I don't promote teen
Yeah.
pregnancy, but if
Yeah.
it happens, then you need to say, okay, this is what's happening, but it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
Your life is not over. You still have so much to accomplish. You still have so much life in you, and now you have a little person
Counting
looking
on
to
you,
you,
Counting on you.
yes.
Yeah.
counting on you.
Yeah.
Because I always had the mentality. Because
Mhm.
I have two daughters, but at the
Yeah.
time it was just
Mhm.
her and I,
Mhm.
and I always had that mentality. It's just you and I, kids.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just you and I against the world, and that's it. Even though I shout out to my mom and my cousin, who's my daughter's godmother.
Mhm.
She, oh my God, I don't know what without my cousin's godmother. I mean, my daughter's godmother and my mother. I don't know what I would have did. They were my biggest support system, and her mom, of course, who passed away. Those three people, but overall, how I viewed it is just my daughter and I have to make it, and that's
So
it.
So
even that
even that
they hear
they hear
somebody
somebody
criticizing them,
criticizing them,
or
or
sometime,
sometimes
People are gonna talk.
even
sometimes
the church,
even the
because I
church, because I
remember
remember
there was a
there
church I
was a
was
church
going
I was
to,
going to,
and
and
one of
one of
friend of the
friend of the
family, which
family, which
we
we
knew
knew
very well,
very well,
and the
and
daughter got
daughter got
pregnant,
pregnant,
and then
and
the
then
messed up
the
thing
messed up
is
thing is
the
the
pastor
pastor
was
was
related to that
related to that
family. I think they
family. I
were
think they were
the
the
the father
the
of that
father of
daughter
that
that had
daughter
the
that had
kid.
the kid.
Um,
Um,
that was the
that was the
brother. It was
brother.
one of
It
the
was
the
one of
pastor
the
brother.
pastor
So,
brothers. So
and
and
he
he
went
went
under
under
puppet and
puppet and
criticized her, said a
criticized her,
bunch
said
of
a
things,
bunch of things,
and I
and I
know
know
that had to
that
take a
had to
toll
take a
on her.
toll on her.
And
And
I'm saying
But
I'm
then
something.
saying
that's
so.
but then that's when you need that support
Yeah.
system,
Yeah.
right? Because people are gonna cast stones,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? They're gonna throw stones. They're gonna people will talk about anything that they can,
Yeah.
right? They'll say, "Oh, why do you have those pink shoes on? It
Mhm.
doesn't go with that pink shirt." People are gonna talk.
Yeah.
So it's about trying your best to have tough skin because
Mhm.
again, you're gonna have someone that's depending on you, and you're gonna have to be that little person's advocate,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And being that little person's advocate starts from that moment you find out you're carrying that baby. Now you have to be strong. You
Be-
have to be strong.
My,
There's no way to put it.
because my
because
thing
my
is,
thing
it's
is
not.
not,
I think
you know, I think
we had
we
talked
had
off
talked
the
of
air
the
right
air right
before,
before,
when we was
when we was
discussing the show,
discussing the
that
show, that
it wasn't
it
like
wasn't like
you were
you were
dating one
dating one
person, right?
person, right?
And you
You
know,
know,
I don't want to
I
go
don't
in
want to
detail.
go in
Like
detail.
it
Like
wasn't like
it wasn't like
it's just
it's
something
just
that
something that
happened that you
happened that
made a
you made a
mistake, right?
mistake,
It
right?
wasn't
It
like
wasn't
that
like
didn't
that didn't
make you
make
a
you
bad
a
person,
bad
because
person, because
the thing
the
that
thing that
people
people
normally say
normally
is
say
all
is
this
all
negative
this
thing.
negative thing.
But
But
we,
we,
to a
you know,
teen
to a
mom now,
teen
right? We
mom now,
just
right?
want
We
to
just want to
let them know,
let them
hey,
know, hey,
just that
just that
mistake you
mistake
made
you
doesn't
made doesn't
define who you
define
are,
who you are,
right?
right?
So
If
just
you could, yeah.
so I never said it was a mistake
Okay.
because I
Okay.
wouldn't.
No,
So
yes.
and
No, yeah.
it
No,
was one
No,
yes.
person.
yeah.
I just want to clear
Yes.
that up. It
Yes.
was
Yes.
one
Yeah.
person. So I just said it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah,
so the
I,
worst thing you can
not the
say
kid
is
not
is a
the
it was.
kid is a
mistake.
No,
mistake.
no, I
It's
hear what
Yeah,
you're
just,
saying.
yeah,
The
yeah,
situation,
yeah.
yes.
but just for me,
Mhm.
and this comes with the
Yeah.
mentality of
Yeah,
how you view things,
Yes.
yeah.
right? Because
Mhm.
we say words have more than
Yeah,
Exactly.
power, and
exactly.
it's the
Yeah.
power of the
Yes.
tongue.
Yeah.
So if you have in your mentality is like, oh my God, I made a mistake. No, it's a situation that
Yeah.
happened, and
Yeah.
now I have to
Exactly.
deal with it,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that's how it
Okay, I
starts.
want to
Okay, I
rephrase
want to
So
rephrase the
it was
plan.
not
It
a
was
no, you
not
said
mistake.
planned
it.
to
I
You
do
know.
you
it. I
said
don't
it
want to take
fine.
it
You
serious.
said it fine. You want to know what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do call it a mistake.
Okay.
Okay.
Some people say I made a mistake, and that's the thing
Not
people
the
say.
Not
kids.
the
The
kids.
kids
The
never
kids
made
Not
a
the
never
mistake.
kids,
mistake.
right?
Yeah.
The
The
Yeah.
yeah.
The
situation.
situation.
But I'm saying for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
because you're asking, I'm
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
making
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
statements, right? So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
I was able to move forward
Mhm.
is I've never said, oh, I made a mistake.
Mhm.
I always said, oh, a situation just
Yeah.
happened, and I just have to deal with the
Exactly.
situation. And
Mhm.
I think that's what I've always, even anything in life, just starting from when I got pregnant with my daughter, I've always said, you know what? A situation happened. How do I move forward?
Mhm.
This happened. I'll cry about it. How do I move forward?
Mhm.
And I think that's been my staple, and that's been my thing in life with everything. You know, it could be. Let me give you another example. Or if someone calls me and say, "Oh, such and such happened." Okay, that happened. You want to cry about it? I'll give you a second to cry about it. I'll be a shoulder to cry on. Let's cry about it. You
Mm-hmm.
finish crying? Okay, let's wheel it in. How do we move forward?
So,
And
so,
I think and I even tell my kids that too. You got a bad grade? Okay, you could cry about it.
so,
So,
How do we move forward?
with you
with
moving
you
forward,
moving
right?
forward,
Because
right? Because
Hmm.
how did you
how did you
handle
handle
finishing school,
finishing
right?
school, right?
Oh yeah.
Because
So.
Because
that had
that
to be
that had
Mhm.
to
tough,
be tough,
and then you
and then
went
you went
on
on
to
to
college.
college.
Mhm.
You got
You
bachelor,
got
you got
bachelor, you
master.
got
So
master. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit
tell
So
us a little
yeah,
about
bit
that.
about that.
um so as I mentioned before, so high school, my best friend, she was able best friends, I should say, because it took a village. So they were able to watch my daughter for me while I went to night school.
Okay.
I got my diploma. I told you I walked into school proud
Mhm.
with my daughter in hand. Guidance counselor, can I get my diploma, please? Thank you. And then after that, I went on to work in a sneaker store on the
Mhm.
Ave on Jamaica Avenue.
VIM? No,
VIM?
that
No,
that's
Yeah,
that's VIM.
it was prior to that. Prior to,
Okay.
but there was a sneaker store called Moe's
Oh
in the
yes,
college
Oh
I
yes,
remember
I
bookstore.
that.
remember.
That was
Yeah,
the
Yes,
that was
spot.
the spot.
yes, that was the spot. So I worked in the sneaker store. I'll just fast forward because I could
Mhm.
be talking about my life for days. But anyway, so and then I'm sitting there, and then something hit me, and I was like, this can't be it.
Yeah.
This is not it for me. And then somehow, oh, every Haitian mom wants their kid to be a nurse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, all
Lawyer,
right,
Lawyer,
lawyer.
this
the lawyer
lawyer,
nurse or
yes.
something, right? So I said to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to nursing school. But I knew I couldn't do it just yet because I knew I had to go to college first. So I
Mhm.
said, I'm going to go to medical assistant school. And then from medical assistant school, I'll go on to college to move forward. So I ended up becoming a medical assistant for 12 and a half years. And in between there, I went to community college. I tried to do the nursing. I tried to go the nursing route, but I just have to have conversations with myself that it probably wasn't just gonna happen. It wasn't gonna happen, and I'm being so transparent because nursing is so competitive. I feel like this is my advice to any young person: if you want to go to nursing school, go to a university. Go to a university where you can, get your prereqs and go straight into the nursing program. Because when you try to go to community college, I'll say I went to BMCC. It's so competitive,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a community college.
They're only taking a certain amount of
They
people.
only taking a certain amount, and you basically have to have a 4.0 to get into the program. I did well, but it wasn't a 4.0. In certain classes, you have to have like A's, and then it became on who you know, right? So I realized that probably I needed to redirect. So I transferred to NYU, and when I went to NYU, I was like, okay, I'll do psychology, and then once I do psychology, then I'll do double bachelor and try to do the nursing at NYU. But then as I was going through it, I ended up getting a job at a health insurance company, and I love that aspect of it more, like the admin behind the scenes. I won't disclose where I work or what I do because we gotta, But I will say that once I went to NYU, then I decided I'm going to go the admin route. So then I switched my major. I got my bachelor's at NYU for healthcare administration, and then I went on to get my master's in public health administration. Sorry, I have so many degrees. I'm like, you can't keep it right. But yes, so I did it, and that was just a fast forward story. And I just wanted to, for me, I just wanted to show my kids that I could get a master's. So if I could get a master's, you could get a master's, or you could do better, and better is a doctorate.
So
like
like
I want
I want
to
to
start
start I would say
at
at
the
an
older
older
age
age because you know
I used to
I
just
used to just hang out
back then in
back
high
then in
school.
high school. Um,
And
and
sometime
sometimes
when
like
I
when that especially
when they give you
when
the
they give you the group
project to
project
do,
to do I went to one of the second school I went to is LIU,
very
very
competitive.
competitive,
And
and
I saw some
I
of the
saw some of the
kids
kids
that
that
their parents
their
pay
parents
everything
pay
for
everything
them,
for
all
them,
this
all this
thing,
thing,
and they
and
had it
they had
made,
it
but
made, but
there wasn't
there wasn't
focusing on
focusing
school,
on
right? Like
school, right? Like
school was
school
not
was not
important to them.
important to them.
And when I
And
went
when I
back
went
to
back to
school,
school,
I think
I
that was the
think that
time
was
that
the time that
I had like
I had like
my
my
first kid,
first kid,
and
and
it kind
it
of
kind of
push you
push
to
you to
like you
like
notice
there's
someone like you
someone
say
like you
before,
say
there's
before there's
someone
someone
that you
that
had to
you
do
had to
this
do
for, right?
this
It's
for,
not
right? It's
just
not just
for
for
yourself,
yourself,
right?
right?
So my
So
thing
my
is,
thing is,
during that
during
time,
that
did you
time,
ever
did
feel
you
like
ever feel
giving
like
up?
giving
What
up?
kept you
What kept
going?
you
Like,
going? Like,
was it
was
that
it that
you
you
felt
felt
that
that
because
because
you had a
you had a
daughter,
daughter
and
and
did that
did
help
that help
you
you
see something
see
different?
something
Like you
different? Like
wasn't
you
going to
wasn't
school
going to
to
school to
party, you
party,
wasn't
you
going to
wasn't going
hang
to
out,
hang out,
had
you had
something
Yeah,
something
and then by
to
that
big to
time,
accomplish.
yeah, so I had my daughter when I was 18. Sorry, I was pregnant at
hmm
18 and
Hmm.
had her at 19. And then, by the time I started community college, I think I was already like 25
okay.
or 26 or something like that. So by that age, you're not thinking about party.
Hmm.
I felt like, oh, let's pause for a
Yes.
second. I do want to say, remember I told you my mom was one of my biggest
Right. Yeah.
supporters.
Yeah.
So I still was able to go out, hang out with my
Okay.
friends. I
Okay,
was able to
okay,
party. I
yeah.
still had a good
She
She
was
was
teenage
there
there
years.
watching
watching you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
either my mom or my daughter's godmother or her grandmother.
about no
So
About no
sisters,
sisters.
no
so
brothers.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, yes,
Yeah, I
okay,
don't.
that's
Okay.
nice.
You
Okay,
started.
But yes,
got
I
it.
do have
Hmm.
siblings.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another part. I do have siblings, but at that time it was just me and my mom,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, so I would say, and then if I wanted to hang out outside, my best friend. So I had a really really good support system.
Hmm.
So I say that to say, by the time I got to college, it was a tunnel vision on my degree.
Okay.
So it to me, and then I was working and going to school too.
Mhm.
So, and this is money that was I was paying for with financial aid. So
Okay.
it wasn't like mommy was coming to save me and paying for these things. No.
So
So
So,
so
and if
and
I mean, if
if
you don't
I
want
mean
to
if
talk
you don't want
about
to
it,
talk
it's
about it,
fine.
it's
Did,
fine.
did
Did
the
the
father
father
play a
play a
role?
role?
no,
And
Not at
okay,
all.
not
Not
at
from
all.
the
Not from
no,
the
start.
start
no.
to
Okay.
okay.
So
So
my thing
my
is,
thing is,
what would you
what would you
advise like
advise
a
like
young
a young
woman,
woman,
like
like
even
even
because
because
one of the things
one of
that
the things that
I heard the
I
other
heard the
day,
other
right?
day, right?
This
This
lady
lady
on
was
a
doing a
podcast. She said
podcast.
that
She said
a
that
lot of
a
times
lot of
she didn't
times
even
she
know
didn't even
herself.
know herself.
That
That
the
the
mothers they're not
mothers they're not
telling
telling
the young
the
girl
young
or the young
girl, the
woman
young
that
woman that
the truth
the
out there,
truth out
right?
there,
They were
right? They
saying
will
like
say like
uh,
uh
most of the
most of the
people,
people,
most of the guys
most of
that
the
you're
guys
gonna
that you're
meet,
gonna meet,
99%
99% is
don't
don't
they would tell you
they
the
will tell
sweet
you the sweet
thing doesn't
thing
mean
doesn't mean
they want to
they
be with
want to be
you
with
or
you
they want
or
a
they want a
serious relation.
serious
Only
relation.
one
Only
percent
one
is only
percent. It's
one
only one
percent.
percent.
You
You
find
know
about
you
one
find about
percent
one
that
percent
really
that
want to
really
settle
want to
down,
settle
want to
down,
have
want to
kids,
have
want
kids,
to,
want
or
to,
if you
or if you
end up having
end up
kids,
having
that
kids,
to
that to
be
be
there for you,
there
right?
for
My
you, right?
thing
My
is,
thing is,
you know,
you know,
do
do
you?
you?
All I'm gonna say
All
is
I'm gonna say
like,
is like,
what would you
what would
tell
you
the young
tell the
woman out
young
there
woman out
to
there
watch
to
out
watch
for,
out
so
for,
this
so
way
this
they
way
don't
they
fall
don't fall
into
into
that, the
that,
fact that
the fact that
yes,
yes,
something
something
happened,
happened,
but
but
he didn't
he
step
didn't
up
step
to
up
the to the
to
plate
the plate
to help out,
to help out,
hmm So the thing is that sometimes you don't know someone's not going to step up until a situation
Okay.
happens.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to sit here and say he was a bad person, because at
Mhm.
the time he wasn't,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You know, when I had to go take the train, he would ride the train because at the time I was living in Brooklyn. So he
Okay.
would ride the train with me all the way to
Okay.
Brooklyn and come back to Queens,
Mhm.
So would I have thought that he wouldn't step up? No.
Okay. Maybe you
So
think
that,
Maybe
maybe
you
it
think
was
maybe you was
fear for
I
fear
him
for
think
him
I
for him.
think I think it was just the fear of
hmm
being a dad and fear of stepping up. But at the end of the day, like I said, you have the fear of being a dad, you have the fear of stepping up. But the thing about it is, with moms, well, good moms, you're always gonna be the mom. you know so again, you don't sometimes you don't know the person's going to bail out until a situation, like, because everything could be all good. Y'all, we were best
Mhm.
friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good friends,
Mhm.
and then this happened, and then it was like peace out,
Wow.
Wow.
and then I was like bye bye,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I stepped up and became you know, and my daughter. I mean, of course, every child needs their dad. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say that, but I don't think my daughter missed out on anything. I know some people won't agree with me, but
I mean,
I mean,
I did say
hmm
every
mhm.
child should have their
yes.
dad. I'm
Yes.
not saying that
Okay.
they
Okay.
shouldn't, but at the same time, if you're not going to step up and do what you have
Yes.
to do,
Yeah.
it's not fair to play a
Yeah.
yo-yo. Like
No,
Yeah.
no,
people
No. No.
who
definitely,
I'm here, then I'm not.
definitely. I
Definitely.
mean,
I mean,
I'm not trying to
I'm not
plug
trying
my
to
book.
plug
I
my
did
book.
write a
I
book
did write
about
a book about
fatherhood. When
fatherhood.
I
When
did the
I did the
research,
research,
uh,
uh,
especially
especially
a young
a
lady, a
young lady,
woman,
a
they
woman, they
need their
need
father
their
in their
father
life.
in their life.
Yes,
Yes,
see,
see,
Nisa,
Nisa,
but
but
since he
since
wasn't
he wasn't
offering
offering
anything,
anything,
so I
so
don't know.
I
Maybe
don't
in
know.
that way
Maybe
you
that
mean
way
it,
you mean it, that
that
he
did not
did
because
not
he
mean because
wasn't
he wasn't
offering
offering
anything, right?
anything, right?
Maybe but
Maybe
a
but a
dad
dad
of
What do you mean
of
by offering
like you
anything?
saying
like
that
you
he
saying
wasn't
that he
stepping
wasn't
up to the
stepping up
plate
to the
where to
plate where
be
to
there as
be
a
there
dad.
as a
So
dad.
therefore,
So
No,
therefore,
but from the
yeah,
beginning, right?
yeah.
From the time
Hmm.
I said I'm pregnant, it was like, oh
yeah, that's
no,
what I'm
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's what
Like
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
so
so
therefore,
therefore,
see them
see
missing
them
because
missing
there
because
was
there was
yes,
Right,
yes,
that's what
exactly.
I'm
exactly.
That's
Yep,
what
trying
I
I'm.
to
Yeah,
understand. Sorry,
okay,
I
yeah,
misunderstood
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah.
so
So,
But
but mhm,
what I will say is, at a certain, and we were young, we were
yes,
yeah,
kids, we
hmm,
were literally kids still
yeah,
in high school, right? So it's not fair to give a assessment about a child,
yeah,
you know. But I will say to any grown woman out there, if you have experience with men, you know, you can tell what a man can offer and what he can't offer for you. You know, so and it's equal, right? So for a man too, a man is gonna want to see what a woman could bring to the table. Now we're switching topics
No,
here.
No, no, it's connected
It's connected. Don't get me started on that. But it has to be an equal thing, But so to a young kid, I will always say, use protection. Make sure, try. I would never say, go ahead, have a baby at a young age. It's cool. No, it's not, because then you miss out on your, going away to school, or That's why I definitely encourage my daughter. It's so funny because my daughter had some friends whose parents didn't want them to go away to school, and I was like, let them go away. I won't say what school she went to, but she went to a HBCU, and I was like, go away to school, because I want her to experience life. I want to make sure that
my kids are far away. I mean, at least
not more
not more than 2 hours, because I want to be able to
call me.
Yeah. She's about 3 hours away, not too far. But I'll talk to you offline. You gotta let her go. Right?
Yes, let her fly, right?
Yeah, let her fly. You want to know why? Because my thought process is that you don't want your kids aging backwards, right? You want them to go away to school, to experience life, to experience going away. So guess what? By the time you graduate and you come back home, it's time for you to start your career, and you won't miss. Oh, I want to go out here. I want to go out here, because you experienced that in college, right? So the thought about going to college is that you have your good grades and you still have fun, but you got your good grades and you're gonna. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
I let her go. I'm just gonna move like 10 blocks away.
Listen, so maybe we can get both our kids to go together. That's what's comfort. They're besties.
Yes, she actually. She's like, what? You having? I'm a friend, mom on the show.
Oh my
god! Like she was.
I dropped her off and I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, she's my boy. She Yes. So my thing is, we were talking about
briefly about relationship
or choosing the right person. I think it's hand in hand, right? It's connected because anybody that you talking to, you dating, I would say that you should expect that you might have a kid with that person, right? No, I mean, if you're having sex, you're gonna have
but you should be using protection.
Even
what do they
say on the condom? Okay.
Any of those protection, all of them say
it's not 100%,
right?
So my thing is, should we also advise young people, right? Girls or boys, right? That when you date
or you're
talking to somebody, you have to date with intention, right? Like to make sure that maybe not saying it's gonna happen. Maybe that person might be
the father of
your kids. Maybe that person might be the mother of your kids. So make sure you look at characters. You look at. I mean, that age. Like you were saying,
it's hard
for you too.
I'm conflicted with that because.
Okay.
Tell me
why.
That's a hard question, because you want your kids to date, right? To explore, right? But at the same token, you want to make sure, like, okay, for example, with my kids, right? So I'm like, so I'm saying when you're dating not my younger one, the older one. The younger one's too young to date, but the older one, I did tell her, you should try to date with intent, and see the type of person he is, right?
Because remember, you dating. I'm not saying dating, right? You date.
But I did say date with intent, so I'm contradicting myself.
No. What I was saying in the beginning, you're doing a process of elimination, right?
So
before you get that close to that person, right? So you're not trying to test their character.
Yeah, so
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
say, right?
Okay.
Just because you're dating someone doesn't mean you're sleeping with someone, right?
Exactly. But
So that's why I was like, you can't say you're dating, you'll get pregnant. No, that's not true.
before you get
Yeah,
to that level, I was.
before you get to that level, that's why I was like, wait, I'm conflicted because I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
We gotta be careful. People are listening, so we gotta be
Yeah.
careful what we're
No,
putting out there,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Power of the tongue.
Yeah.
So, before you get to that level, you have to see the type of person he is because your body is your temple, right?
Exactly.
And we don't want our girls to have a lot of bodies on their bodies.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're experimenting with 15 people. So that's just way
And
too
then
much.
the boys too. Let's be clear because it's for both.
Boys is different.
No, you can't say that because I believe that the same way, right? It might be different as far as like remember there's feel, right? The what they call it, the soul tie.
So
You don't want a guy, boy that there's so many people now when they find the right person, now you can't commit
right,
because of
and
all
that's
the
why
yeah.
we tell our girls, right? When you're dating, you have to know the type of person he is, the type of character he is, right? You have to date to see, if this is someone you can see a future with, and if he feels like he can see a future with you, then you guys discuss, sleeping with each other. Then you have to discuss. You have to get tested.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say this
Oh
again.
yeah, I love that.
You have to get tested and share your mind chart.
Yeah.
Don't go by nobody's word. It's scary out there, right?
Oh, go together.
Yeah,
because I remember back in the day when I was dating, and we went together to the
go
test
together.
yes, and both of us and look at it.
So that's what I would say. I wouldn't say, say, oh, the person you're dating, you could have a baby. No, you're not gonna, because you shouldn't even get to that point.
And then
yet.
I think that's to cut you off that. I think you have to know your priority, right? Like it's okay to wait till you get married. I don't know. Maybe people might say it's old school. That's okay too if that's what you want to do. It's okay to wait until you get married.
It's your body. It's your body. You're in charge of your body, right?
Don't be what they call it peer pressure. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of that in school, right? Even in high school. I mean, me back in the day, junior high school. My school was bad. Yeah, it was really bad back then. And hopefully, I think it's different. Based on the neighborhood, but we don't know. Yeah. So I think the main thing too. I think that's important that you talk about STD, making sure you get tested because there's so much thing out there. And before even the kid thing come into play, right? So making sure all these things is taken care of, right? What other advice? Like you mentioned, you have an older daughter you start talking to about dating, right? Have you? Do you feel like you're more careful since you was a teen mom, like or harder on your older daughter than if you was not a teen mom?
No, she would say I was harder on her.
She would say that, okay.
She would say I was harder on her than the younger one.
Okay.
Just because I wanted more, right? I want you to be better than me.
Okay.
I want you to be better than me. So on her 18th birthday, and she was good, I was like,
because you felt like it would be like
a cycle.
Cycle.
Yeah, because in my family it was. I won't talk too much about my family because that's not fair. But it was a cycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did your mom? Can we talk about? Did your mom have you?
No, my mom had me at like 30 something. My mom had me old. I was saying cycle for one of my cousins. Yeah. So I think that's why that comment was made towards me, and that's why I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
And then we still, to anybody listening, especially the young girls, that this happened to you, don't listen to what the people are saying, those negative things, and then that you're gonna bounce back. Sometime God used whatever happened to for His purpose. It doesn't mean that He wanted to happen to you, but
in
in
the
the
midst
midst
of
of
that,
that, you got your degree, you went to school, you focus. For me, when I had my son, it made me more focused in school. Like I said, back in high school, I used to just play around, go to parties. I got my GED. It's okay, GED is okay.
It's okay. But
Yes,
for me, I feel a
yes,
sense of pride because
yes,
I have
yes,
it.
yes,
So
yes,
listen, whatever
yes,
everybody has
yes,
their own path
Yeah.
and their own
I know. I
success.
wasn't saying. I'm just saying.
So it's
Anybody would just
okay.
say yes,
Yeah.
and then and now I'm trying to finish law school. So, but the whole thing is doesn't matter how you get in there, right?
Yeah. And
Right
I
to get
also
into.
yeah, and I also want to say too that I told you I worked in the pediatric
Yeah.
office, and so I've had conversation with young girls that
Mhm.
became teen moms, and I've told them, look at me as an example.
Yeah.
Life is not over. You are the only one that can control what happens in your life, and you are the one that controls the path, right? So you can walk a straight walk, right? Just
Mhm.
because you had a child doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
There's so many opportunities out there, and a lot of help out there. You can utilize it.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Let's talk a little bit about because time is going. We're gonna finish in the next 5-10 minutes. So tell me a little bit about the support like beside your parents that's out there. Do you recall like how did
Oh,
you
I've
get
worked.
you were okay? So
Yeah, I didn't. I
you
didn't.
didn't go,
I
but
didn't have public
probably okay.
assistance.
But of public assistance and the kids go. And about counseling like did they have any did anybody
Nope.
counsel you? Okay.
Nope. If anything, I became people counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess at that time it's like you
Mhm.
have a baby, you have a baby. Oh, but I will say one time the school did. So I guess there was a school on Jamaica Avenue
Mhm.
that was for pregnant teens,
Okay.
and they tried to send me there, and I was like, no, I'm not going there. I'm going to stay right here. And they was like, well, it's a liability. Okay, I'm gonna stay right here, and they let me stay, and then I
They let you
finished
say,
school.
wow.
I will never forget that day that I walked into the office and said I'm staying was 9/11
Mhm.
because I remember
Oh
it was
wow.
9/11, and then as I said that, then we got the notice that everybody had to leave and go home because of the situation that happened in Towers, and I remember me and my belly was walking home.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I always worked. And it's crazy because I've been working since I was 13, summer youth.
Wow.
So I feel like I've always just had that drive in
So
me.
did you feel like this lesson like when you learn more about responsibility?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I feel like my daughter, and I always say if I didn't have my daughter, I don't know where I would be. I feel like she shaped me, and
Yeah.
so in high school I was
Mhm.
partying, hanging out, not going to class. But when I became pregnant, I told you I had the best grades I've ever had in my life. hmm So, but yeah, I overcame. I got my degrees again because it was to show my kids that
Mhm.
even though I had a child at a young age, I still went and got my degree. So you can
Nice.
too.
Nice.
So
Let me ask you, did you, I don't know if you're religious or, did you have any, like personal belief that helped you in that journey?
God,
Okay.
only
Okay.
God,
Yes.
only God. Because obviously it was other stuff that happened
Mhm.
in between. I won't get too much
Yes.
into just talking about like the surface level stuff.
Mhm.
But only it was me and God on that
Yeah.
journey. If I didn't have God, I don't know what I would have done. So I prayed, 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 and opportunities and doors opened for
Mhm.
me.
And then you would not advise anybody to have abortion, nothing like that.
Personally, I don't believe in it,
Okay.
but people just have to do what's best for them, right? Some people shouldn't have kids. Some, can't have kids.
Yeah.
So I would never tell somebody, oh, go have an abortion or don't have an abortion. You can never tell anyone um how to walk their path, right?
No, I'm
All they
saying like
can
as far
do.
as advice because you feel like your daughter I mean both daughter but the first one became a blessing for
hmm
you, right?
But that may not be the story for someone else,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I can't say don't have an abortion because your life can be like mine. Everybody doesn't have the same path,
Okay.
right? Or the same ambition. So I can never tell someone what to do with their body.
I,
So I don't believe in
I was
abortions, but I also don't believe that you should tell someone what to do with their body. It's your body.
Yeah.
I
You
would
shouldn't
I
have the
say
would
right to tell
say,
someone.
seek
seek
some help
some
and
help
then
and then
speak to somebody
speak to
before you
somebody
make the
before you make the
decision. Like you
decision.
said,
Like
Oh,
you said,
absolutely,
you don't
absolutely.
only
We're living in different
exactly,
times
exactly. Yes.
now,
Yes.
so now it's a lot more
yes,
Yeah.
resources. That
yeah.
I
Yeah.
would definitely
Maybe you could
feel.
Maybe
give
you could give
the kid
the kid
away.
away
If
if
if you speak to
if you
somebody
speak to somebody
beforehand and they
beforehand
say,
and they
okay,
say,
there's a
okay, there's
place
a
you could
place you could
Give the kid
give
up for
it, yeah, if you can
adoption.
adoption,
Yeah.
if you
if you
can't,
can take
Yep.
care
Don't
of
just
take
them.
care of
leave
them.
them
Yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere or
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's too many resources. So
yeah,
if you're
Yeah.
asking me what advice I
yeah.
would give
Yeah.
if someone's in that position, yeah,
Mhm.
I will say to seek guidance. You have guidance
Yes.
counselors in your
Yes.
school.
Mhm.
Definitely if you feel like you can't talk to a parent, hopefully your parent you have aunts or uncles or someone that you can speak to. But again, if you don't, speak to someone in the school and they could better advise you before you make that decision. But in 2026, it's way too many resources out there for someone to make a decision. Like even if you're like far along, where it's too, you're not at the position where you can make alternative choices, where you no
Mhm.
longer are able to have the kid. But I'm trying to say it politically correct. But there's way too many options out there to.
So
We
we
spoke.
spoke.
You
You
spoke so
spoke
much
so much
positive thing
positive thing
about a lot of
about a lot
positive
of
thing that
positive thing
happened
that
to you.
happened to you.
But
But
what was
what
some of
was
the
some of the
drawback or
drawback or
some negative
some
thing that
negative
I
thing that I
know?
know,
Kids are
kids are
blessing, but
blessing, but
me, I know
me,
that
I know that
when my
when
son,
my son,
three, 4 o'clock in the
3, 4 o'clock in the
morning, I
morning,
had to
I
wake
had to
up,
wake up,
feed him,
feed him,
the
the
bottle one,
bottle one,
what was
what
some of
was
the
some of the
stuff that
stuff that
is not
is not
easy
easy
being,
being,
even the
even the
parents, but
parents,
a
but
teen
a
mom, I know
teen
it's
mom, I know
even
it's
10
even
times
10
harder.
times harder.
I know this is gonna sound so crazy, but I
Hmm.
felt that was my baby.
Okay.
Okay.
So in terms of struggle,
Hmm.
I think the only struggle would have been was at one point I was living in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Her babysitter was on one side of Queens,
Wow.
Wow.
and then I had to troop it back to work on another side of Queens.
Wow.
Wow.
So that would have been the struggle. But in terms of just her, like she was like the perfect baby, the perfect kid.
Hmm.
I don't know if you ever met her.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
older daughter. You met
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, I met
Yeah,
your
yeah,
daughter.
yeah.
That's the
The
one.
older one. Yeah.
Yes.
She was like
Hmm.
the perfect kid.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like even now it's like the
Yeah.
perfect
Yes.
Yeah.
kid.
Yes.
She's the one
Yes.
who
She's
told
the one
us
who
to do
told
the
us to do
show.
the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Oh,
Yes.
why
Yes.
did I ask you that? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's
It's
okay.
That was
yeah. No.
Yeah.
You,
No.
but
you
You
funny.
buddy.
Forgot. Yeah.
But
So
yes. So
you
um,
know
now
now the show has
the show
come
has come
to an
to
end.
an end.
Um.
hmm
What are your
What are
final
your
thought,
final thought,
about this
about this
topic,
topic,
or
or
just
just
anybody?
anybody?
What would you want
What
them
would
to
you want
take
them
away
to
from
take
this
away from this
show?
show?
You know.
what I would want them to take away is any young person. I will say, life is not over. It happened. There again in it's different because this was in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She's 24. So that was so long
You look
And
ago.
like
you
you're
look like you're
25.
25.
That was so long ago. So I feel like in 2026, there's so many resources out there. There's
The
so
The
different.
many
different one.
counseling. And I know mental health is a huge thing
Yes.
right
Yes.
now. So I will definitely say, definitely speak to someone. Make sure your mental health is good, right? Before you make any type of choices. There is still life in you after that, right? You can still go to school. You can
Yes.
still accomplish things. There's still so much that you can do. You
Yeah.
can still get your
Yeah.
degrees and everything.
Yes, thank
Yes.
you so
Thank you
much.
so
I
much.
think we
I
well
think we
said.
will say.
Yeah.
Before we
Before
end, I
we
just
and
want
I
to give
just
my
want to give
final
my
thought
final thought
also.
also.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
But
I think
I
that
think that
so many
so
times we
many
see in
times
the
we see in the
news
news
that
that
whether that
whether that
a
a
mother, a
mother, a teen
teenager,
ager,
teen mom would
teen mom would
drop their
drop their
baby in the
baby in
garbage
the
can.
garbage can.
Um,
Um, other stuff that they do. Some of it, through abortion. Like you say, we're not telling you what to do with your body, but just make sure that you get the advice, because I believe most of those decisions are being done out of fear, because you're young, you don't know. There's a lot of pressure from parents, friends, that they're telling you, it's the worst thing that you've done, that could be done, right? Or they look at you the wrong way. They judge you out of that one thing that you done. You know, so sometimes we feel like life is over. There's nothing else that you could, that can be done. So some of us was so focused on getting a degree, or just doing something different, right? That wasn't the time yet to have kids, right? It wasn't planned. So we just want to let you know that, hey, there's still life after that. After having a kid, being a teen mom, just like Julie say that she went on to achieve so much, and you have two kids now, right? Two kids, two beautiful kids. You have a great career. You're living your best life. So it's not over. Don't look at it as being over. Make sure you get the help, you get the counseling. I'm sorry I didn't have those support hotline, but you could Google it and then get as much support. You could get ideas. There's financial support. There's mental support, and I think they even provide housing too, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of teen mom, because you didn't even talk about that. There's a lot of parents that kick their kids out the home, at the house, right? Yeah, which is sad. I think that you should give your kid a second chance. To the parents out there, we gotta do better. We gotta be supportive. They made a mistake, or the situation, was the mistake, not the kids, like we say. We need to do better as parents who have teenage, who become a mom. And then to the men, we didn't get talk too much about the men. They need to step up. Young. When I heard this thing, someone is like, even though you're a young man, once you have a kid, you become a man. Hey, you should not. They wanna, let's say, you don't wanna get burned. Don't play with fire. Once you did that, you gotta step up, get a job. Don't just leave, the mom there to do everything on her own, because you did it together. You had the kids together. Step up, no matter what age. You need to step up and be there for your kid, right? So again, Julia, I want to thank you so much. It's been, in the making, right? I've been asking you, or I sent you a text before, like, I think it was a few years. I think no, must be last year. I think, yes. But I'm glad that you decided to come today. Listen, nothing is done before the time, right? I appreciate you, and then I hope that the audience could take something from this podcast today. And I want to thank your daughter, because it was her idea. So big up to her. So thank you, and then I want to thank the audience, and tune in next time on next show. God bless.
Bye bye.